welcome back. Today we are talking about recreational outragers. These are people that want to get all hissy and upset about the dumbest shit and they'll take no action about it and want to ruin the careers of people. And a lot of these complaints are baseless.
I attribute this to everybody wanting to be a, it's not quite a victim, but like, okay, the N word. If you're a black guy, somebody says the N word, you beat them up. So now everybody in society has their N word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody has an N word, and you have people who aren't gangster who wants to beat up, they want to beat up people, or they want to be outraged. So I'm a right to lifer. You believe in abortion? And they want to fight you.
Yeah.
So instead of you having a belief or being able to disagree, adult disagree, like, hey, we don't have to see eye to eye on things. It's just the way it is. No, they want to fight you over whatever the issue is. They should affirmative action. Let's kick ass. Let's march for this. I'm like, it's cool. I get what you're saying. You don't have to agree with me, but stop trying to make everything the equivalent to the N word, something that's going to make you want to fight somebody just because they said it or just because they thought it.
Two things. One observation that I have is that people who have been oppressed and people who are liberal minded are adopting the behavior patterns and the thought processes of those that have oppressed them.
The oppressors.
You know? And so now what I see them doing is being completely extreme, allowing no room for dialogue or conversation whatsoever.
If you believe this, then you're obviously a bad person. Like, okay, like I can save 19 orphans from a burning fire,
right?
But because I don't donate to the United Way or something, yeah, I'm a piece of crap. And
that's the antithesis of a liberal mindset or outlook. Because I mean, technically, a liberal person is supposed to be open-minded and willing to discuss things.
But also, these extreme rich kids are hijacking the liberal movement, and this is what they meant by that. Liberals should be an open-minded thing, like, hey, there's other ways to see things. But instead, it becomes the antithesis of that. It becomes more closed-minded, and it becomes fascism. That if you don't agree with me, if you don't see things the way I do, or I'm telling you how to think, and you better think that way. That's fascism. That's when somebody tells you how to feel, how to think. And what people don't recognize is that is worse because right now, this whole social justice warrior is what they call them. I get it. I'm black. I've been discriminated against. I've been done wrong. Yes. It's up to me to fight against it. But yes, I do need people in Congress. I do need people to see that. But talking about my oppression and addressing it and actually doing something about it are two different things. And that's the problem. You think because you spoke up about it that you are my equivalent, or you think that because you recognize that I'm going through something, but you didn't help me, but you're not helping me up. If you see me fall and you're like, man, you fell, but you walk right by.
There's a story that you told me about. You don't name any names, but there was a person you knew professionally that didn't have the same credentials that you had, but they were in the same position that you were.
Yes. 100%.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Look, there's a gentleman I formerly worked with, very smart guy. He went to a very prestigious high school. And because his dad works at my job, he gets hired. Now me, black man, older, I have a degree in economics and finance. I went to a black university, graduated, all these different other things. But we have the exact same position. We make the same amount of money. And he's a liberal-minded guy. He's very open. He reads a lot of stuff. And he's very well read. Yeah. He's an intelligent guy. Yeah. But his whole thing is that I understand what you're going through, or I get it, brother. And I'm like, I said, no. I said, if you want to know what I'm going through, or you want to be my equal, because right now you're my equal just based on your birthright. You're not my equal based on your ability or your work or anything. You're my equal because your dad got you here. But if that's the case, then give back everything you got from racism. Every time you didn't get stopped by the police, because he used to joke about doing cocaine in high school. He used to all these different things. He did the opposite of me.
And not get arrested.
Yeah, every time you didn't get arrested, give that back, then step to me and be my equal. Go to college, be forced to go to college to get the exact same job and make the exact same pay. Because you look better on paper, they hired you. No, they hired you because your father said, hey, this is my son. I work at the railroad. You work at the railroad. I work at IBM. You work at IBM. So yeah, you receive things based on who you are, but not your ability. And that's the whole liberal part is that yeah, you're acknowledging it. You've read some books. You recognize there's injustice in the world, and you acknowledged it, but you're not going to do anything about it. You're definitely not going to give up anything that you have. So now he did get fired. He got himself in trouble. But that's also that liberal mindset that I've been doing this for years and I never got in trouble. Why should I change my ways?
Yeah.
And so that's another thing. Look, what we're talking about right now is that it's the outrage part. Is that that you read about something, you see something in the news, and next thing you know, you're dropping this guy's this, that's guy, and you're getting upset, and you want to march and you want to fight, but you don't want to actually fight you don't want to fight the system that caused it. You don't want to actually fix what
you want to do just enough, or they want to do. These people we're referring to, they want to do just enough to get praise for it.
Yeah, it's about
that's all that matters, really.
It's about looking good, not being good.
Yes.
They want to be visual, like, oh man, well, he's a good white guy. He's an okay white person, and that's what they're fighting for. Is that I'm not like these other white people. I'm gonna give you an example, and this one is so bad. Please, if I offend somebody, well, fuck you. 2 tears in a bucket. Let me explain something to you. Because you're with somebody of a different race, because you're having sex with a black person and you're white, and if you're a black person having sex with a white person, stop saying that I can't be racist because my husband's white. Stop saying you can't be racist because your wife is black. I said that. Let me explain something to you. The basis of much of slavery, how many of the slave masters had children by the slaves?
Gang of them.
So did he stop being racist because he had a kid with a slave?
He sure didn't shut down the plantation because he had some black punani.
Yeah, in fact, he got more black slaves and he fucked them all. Mm-hmm. So because you had sex with somebody of another race, does that mean you're not a bigot or you're not racist? So stop using that as the paradigm for I can't possibly be racist. My child is biracial.
Yeah.
I'm being funny. But the fact is this, that you're trying to prove something to everybody else with your outrage. Mm-hmm. By you yelling, you think you're saying something. Mm-hmm. I yell the loudest, I must be saying the most. No. I'm beating my chest, so that means I'm really upset. No, the fact is this.
No, it means eventually you have a heart attack.
Yeah. Look, it's about your action. If you're going to elevate my people, if you're going to make America great again, make America better than what it was, that means that you need to make sure everybody's treated the way they're supposed to be treated. And when there's a problem or somebody does something wrong, you don't change the laws. You hold that person accountable and you get them arrested or you make them serve society. Look, right now, the biggest thing in the news right now is that Gene Botham, where the white cop went to the wrong house and shoots the guy. People are outraged, but ain't nobody doing nothing about it, including black folks. Hey, you got the judge who hugged a convicted murderer. Hey, when's the last time you seen a white judge hug a black convicted guy? But see, the thing is people are talking, why is that judge still on the bench? All the people that think something's wrong with that, how come that judge is on the bench? There's not real outrage. Real outrage is when people riot. Real outrage is when people do something about it. Real outrage is when you take that guy out. Hey, man, we're going to vote this guy out of office. We're going to impeach this guy. Or when it comes time to vote, you give money to the other side. Like, hey, I'm going to give money to your campaign because I don't want that guy to get back in there. Yes. And that's what this is about. This society is more about your feelings and it's about your actual reality, and that's what we're discussing here. Here's the
thing, though. Let me interject this. Okay, what created this atmosphere is the
social justice warrior. Say
no, but hang on a second. But it's the allure of being anonymous, hiding behind an avatar, being unseen, and not having to suffer the consequences of being punched in the fucking face for saying some bullshit to a person that will get you punched in the fucking face in person.
Look. I call it a strip club mentality.
Okay. Elaborate.
For instance, you got a guy sitting here with a bunch of ones. Mm-hmm. And like, say you got a dancer, she's a single mother, whatever, she's dancing, she's shaking her butt, she has some stretch marks or whatever. He starts criticizing her. Mm-hmm. She is at her most vulnerable point. She's exposing herself physically and probably mentally too.
Everything.
Yeah. And you got the nerve to talk shit, but you're
everything except for the vital organs.
Yeah. And you're sitting here protected. It's the same way on the internet. You're when this whole internet dating started, because people talk about Facebook, this social media began because of dating, trying to get people trying to get pussy without being seen. It's the same thing. So I can sit here and criticize you. You're a single mom. You know what? You're only showing the picture of your face because you're a fat bitch, or You're a portly little guy. You're only showing your face. You don't show your whole body. Show your whole body. Yes. And so what happens is people can date anonymously. You don't have to expose yourself.
Right.
And that is not fair. So I have nothing to lose, but I have everything to gain. I can tell you that you're not shit, or I can tell you that you're ugly, or I can tell you that, these different things. But the whole time I'm protected by my anonymity, by my anonymousness, that I'm protected. It's the same thing at the strip club. When you're sitting there, and like I said, money is the reason that they're here. That's her job. She's trying to pay bills. He's here trying to pay bills, but instead you belittle them and you take even more of their dignity from them.
Right.
And you give them $1. That's not a fair exchange, my nigga.
Right.
That's not a fair exchange. You're not giving them their strength back. Right. You're not giving them their dignity back, are you? You're just giving them money, and then chances are they're probably paying half that to the babysitter.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they can just stay their ass out the strip club.
Yeah. Look, that's a whole other conversation. But the fact that, but
it's neither here nor there.
No, it's here because they actually think that's easier than getting a real job, or maybe their skills won't allow them. So that's the problem with society. That you obviously think this is easier. No, it's actually more hard. It's harder. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with anybody working in a strip club. I've put plenty of women through college. I have a single mom scholarship. If you will. Yes, I put plenty. But what I'm saying is that at that point in time, that this man is using his advantage. See, another thing, we talk about racism, we talk about bigotry, and we talk about it from a financial point of view or getting jobs, but sexual conquest is part of it too.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal that these people, a lot of these white guys that are liberals just want to have sex with black women.
Yes.
But nobody
listen, man. It's like the guys, but I mean, it's also the same type of guy that's a male feminist.
Yeah. Dig it. I dig it.
And Jordan Peterson's, he mentioned something about guys like that. That's really pertinent. What he was talking about,
professional. Yes, Jordan Peterson is a great guy. You guys need to explore his work, read it. You'll understand it. Yes.
But he was talking about how this on the evolutionary timeline, he's the guy that would hide and wait for the strong man or the hunter-gatherer to get injured so he could move in and, to comfort the woman when the strong man's not around. Yeah. He's a professional snake.
Well, okay, in the black community, we have a term for this, so please forgive me.
It's called shade tree, nigga.
No. It's called babysitting the pussy. I got a woman and she has a guy friend. Now this guy
in the military, they call him Jody.
Yeah.
Jody's the guy who fucks your wife when you're on deployment.
Yeah. That's a black song, so y'all understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have terms for these people in the black community. What it is that you don't have the strength. Mm-hmm. When I say strength, I don't just mean physical, because when it comes to strength, it's internal strength. You have to have the ability to actually do something. So what they do is wait. They wait for you and your wife, or you and your girl, to get into an argument, and then they're patting them on the back.
Shade tree, nigga.
Yeah, they patting them on the back because they can't do a direct attack. Mm-hmm. Because they have
weak.
Yeah, but no. Here's how it goes down. What happens is that they approach the woman 2 or 3 times. I like you. What's your number? Like, no, we're just friends. We're just friends. So here's what happens. He doesn't have the courage to say, because she's already shot him down. She already told you. So he'll get quote unquote drunk. So he's fake drunk. And he's fake drunk. He makes a move on her again where he tells everything in his heart. Because not because the alcohol gave him courage, but the lie of the alcohol gave him an excuse to open up. So now he's saying, like, I loved you always. I always want to be. Man, like, no, go ahead. Like, damn it. Now, if she had said, yeah, that fake drunk would have been enough for him to have sex with her.
But the thing is, they're patient.
Yes.
And what they're doing is they're just waiting, biding their time.
For an opportunity.
For a moment of weakness on her behalf.
And so, how's that any different from a jackal or a hyena or the lion?
An honest person online waiting for their opportunity to lash out and strike somebody and say some fucked up negative shit. They're just waiting for this opportunity.
But let's bring it back to the conversation
of outraging. That's what I'm talking about.
Of course, of outraging. But here's the deal: we see it all the time with these Russian bots and stuff like that. They're stirring the pot on purpose.
No doubt.
But you got people on there also too with fake Facebooks where, like, okay, look,
so you gotta stop. You gotta stop right here. We gotta dig into this, man, because a lot of people, you and I are pretty well read, and we do a lot of research on our own.
Yes.
But you just spoke about something that some people aren't privy to. And you're talking about these Russian bots. Let's dig into that, because, all right, this started around the 2016 election. Around 2015, going into 2016. And the crazy part about this is there was a lot of AstroTurf, fake grassroots organizations that sprang up out of nowhere, right? And it just so happened that all these black men and women were being killed by police. And it seemed like this was happening like almost artificially. Like, where the fuck is all this coming from? Like, bro, like, we from the hood. Like, we used to people like getting fucked up by police, and some people dying fucking with police. But on this scale, on this fucking level, and social media adding to it did not change anything. It was a fucking spike. Yeah, it almost seemed like it was like
it shot up overnight.
It shot up way up overnight. So then, you know, what's happened around the same time is like Donald Trump like announced his candidacy. This was 2015. Donald Trump announced his candidacy for president, and then became all this division between like white and black people that didn't exist to this degree before in modern time. And I'm talking about modern time from like 2000 forward.
It was aggravating. Okay, first things first. Donald Trump he's very polarizing to begin with.
Yes.
So let's understand that this goes back to when you talk about outraging. You had a lot of white people who felt some kind of way but had no outlet. Had nobody that agreed with them. Had nobody.
Okay.
And so
Trump this created a ripe atmosphere.
Yes.
For these bots to come in and create fake Facebook profiles.
But hold it. There was something before that. Don't forget.
Yes.
There was a presidency of a black man. So
yes.
you had a lot of the one thing that Obama was he was a lightning rod for a lot of things. I would walk.
Good and bad.
Yes, I would walk into work, and every job has an EOC, so you know there's certain things you can't say at work. It's not good to talk about politics, religion, because
the motherfuckers will try.
Yeah, so it was always taboo to say certain things about a black man, like he's lazy, he's this, he's that. Barack Obama gave these closet racists the ability to talk about a black man in public,
yes.
And then simply say, you'd walk into a room.
So what you're saying is spot on right now.
Hold it. You walk into a room. He's lazy. He's this. He's running the country. And then you look at him. I'm talking about the president. Like you were talking about me. Since you can't say my name, since you can't.
You want to say that shit about me?
Yeah. It gave you the ability to talk. Obama's name became like the N-word. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I'm just talking about Obama. Shut your mouth. It's like Shaft. I'm just talking about Obama. Mm-hmm. And they would use that. And they would say these things, these dastardly things. But then they would say it had to do with his campaign. So now, fast forward to Donald Trump announcing his candidacy.
Yeah, all this is like bubbled up to the surface.
But one more thing before you go any further. The other thing that I was in a gun class. I told you about this. I was in a gun class, and the instructor. This is doing Obama, and because the Democrats are big on taking guns, and this he's like, it's a gun grab. Then all of a sudden he goes, just so you guys know, I made more money under Barack than I made under any other president. And we're like, what are you talking about?
No shit. He was probably a conservative white guy.
What he explained was that Barack had passed a law that before you go to overseas a vendor, you have to attempt to give that contract to 3 American companies. Mm-hmm. And so he said, this guy goes like, look, I don't like his policies, but because of him, I made more than I ever have in my business. Then he goes on to say, and so he also said something else. He said, yes, in my line of work, I've had to pull my gun on 2 people, and they both were white. He's saying what he's saying is that he even with that, he had the courage to say, look, I know what we see on TV is one thing, but what happened in life, the people that tried to rob me, they were always white.
In the front of that class?
Of course.
How many black people are in there? Just off the top of your head.
I'm all the black people that was. What the hell are you talking
Only
about?
one.
I'm the black people.
Yeah.
I'm the black people that was in there.
Yes.
But there's a point to this that this outraging is on both sides, because we've been talking about the liberal outraging, but you need to talk about the conservative outraging. And what that means is that you got people that have these emotions, whether racism is an emotion. Bigotry is not just an action; it's an actual emotion. Mm-hmm. And so these people felt like they've been wronged, and so now they're speaking out. That's why you see people saying very racist things, but they're really being emotional. They're feeling like, "Hey, man, you're taking away my freedom. I need to speak up." Right. And Donald Trump, and like I said, they were already pissed because Barack had been in there. Now the thing is, they made more money under Barack, but they felt like their identity was being attacked. So they raged. They speak out. Well, then Trump gets in there, and like you said, that candidacy took off. Now, here's the deal. What you're talking about are these Russian bots, these fake profiles that bring up all this.
That were created by former KGB. We need to be clear on something here.
Yes.
When the Soviet Union crumbled, spies, ex-military, they went into the private sector.
The first things first, they are still patriots. That's another thing.
That is exactly
you must
my
understand.
point.
They are very loyal to Russia, even though Russia.
Yes.
Now, also, here's another thing. Here's the problem with Trump that people aren't understanding. First things first. I do believe at some point that Trump may have been a spy for Russia. He may not know it because his wife is Russian. That's his handler. You know what I'm saying? That's why she's with it. But there's something else that you need to understand. He's living in the 80s. He thinks that he's Ronald Reagan, and he thinks that Putin is Gorbachev.
Yeah.
But let me explain something to you. Russia's national product is less than the state of Texas. They are not who they were. But what they do is they do little antagonistic things across the world.
Correct.
And he's trying to bring back the Soviet Union.
Correct.
Putin wants the glory days back.
He has been president for 20
years. No, he's prime minister then president. See, because you only can be president for so long.
Collectively.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying that he changed his title just because.
Just so he could like get that loophole.
Yes.
Not look like a shithead. Listen, he didn't give a fuck that it was like Russia. He didn't want the rest of the world being like, this guy's a fucking dictator.
Yeah.
He didn't want the blowback. But this is what I'm saying. I need to finish this point. All these former Spetsnaz and like KGB people, spies and like killers,
literally,
that are still patriotic to their country and their ideals.
To the old ideas.
To the USSR.
Yes.
The thing is, these guys still fucking hate America. They still think America is weak.
And they do it for their country.
They do it for their country. So listen, if we can use the art of war and destroy the enemy from within, well, motherfucker, we're going to do that. And guess what we're going to do?
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper, and there's no lives lost on our side, you know what I'm saying, and their side, really. But it's a war. It's a victimless war.
No,
it's a victimless crime. Hang on.
It's victims, us,
but
black folks.
But this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The thing is that we can get these people arguing with each other and watch this country crumble from within. Because if there was a civil war and it were to happen, that'd be the perfect time for them to fucking strike.
Okay. I don't want to get off subject, but you there's something else that.
But it goes. See what I'm saying? It speaks to the outrage.
Oh yeah, no. These go hand in hand.
Go for it.
It's the fact that yes, they are attacking. That black folks are pissed off. We're being killed, so bring it up. But there's something that you need to understand that when old girl from CNN, she's blonde hair, she'd asked Putin if they had anything to do with the election and the election. Do you know what he said? Why are you worried about it? Pay attention to what he's saying. He's telling you, we've always interfered with your elections. It never worked. But now it's working. You guys are so weak that you're more concerned what's going on in my country than what's going on in your own country. They've always attacked our elections. They've always tried to influence our elections. We were too powerful. It didn't work. But now that we are so insecure, and so are you interfering in my election? Look, that's like me asking another man, are you interfering in my marriage? Now, he may not have known I was insecure, but I've let him know there's a crack in my armor. So I've alerted him to the problem.
But let's explore like some of the techniques of these fake accounts, these fake Russian bots. The thing is, there has been forensic programming done.
Yes.
To like find like the origins.
You go back to the origin of the account. What it was at the beginning, you'll find these accounts, and it was like a dog account for a year and a half.
And then all of a sudden becomes Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter, or a liberal account.
These are Black Lives Matter created by Russians.
Yes.
Who've never been on American soil.
Don't care.
Who have no history of posting anything pro-black.
But let's bring it back to the subject. They are taking advantage of these ragers. These people these white people who are pissed that white people's rights are being infringed upon.
Correct.
And look, we always hear the cops say, well, we want the cops to go home safe. Well, what about the regular citizen who's walking home from work? What about the kid that's walking in his dad's apartment?
You're endangering the lives of police.
Yeah.
Well, my fucking life.
Yeah. See, what
about my kids' lives? My nephews.
Let me explain something. When you see these laws and nobody talks about, let's go back 8 years ago. Trayvon Martin, however many. Let's go back to Trayvon. The kid was at his father's apartment complex walking. You had a guy who couldn't do MMA, who couldn't be a cop.
Couldn't be a cop.
Who
he failed at everything.
Everything. And so he gets beat up by a 17-year-old, and he shoots a 17-year-old. And then they have the audacity to say, "This is stand your ground." So let me ask you a question about stand your ground.
That kid was standing his ground.
Yes, the stand your ground should have been on the side of Trayvon.
And he was unarmed.
It should have been stand your ground for the guy that got beat up, the guy that followed him, the guy that was instructed by the 911 operator. So that's what I'm talking about by rages. People actually put. That's another thing when it comes to white folks and black folks. They actually had a GoFundMe account for Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Remember, he made like $300,000 in 6 days.
Yep.
How come black folks don't do that? But see, because our rage is different. We rage quietly. We like, hey, yeah, let's march.
Until it explodes.
Yeah, but we rage quietly and we don't unite. When you unite and believe in something, you make shit happen. The same thing with these white people that are so-called liberals. How come they don't put money together and actually help black folks? Look, when you talk reparations, people start mumbling.
Listen,
I don't understand this.
Listen, you will see the true nature of a person in the state of their racism, or excuse me, of their
Bigotry
and prejudice.
Yes.
You will see that as soon as you talk about reparations. Reparations, we're not going to go too far in this episode about that, but the thing is, because the sun will go down and we'll still be talking. The thing is, man, is that like when you talk about reparations, white motherfuckers' booty holes pucker. They sphincter gets tight when you start talking about pay me what you owe me. That shit makes people like visibly angry. I'm like, well, hang on, man. Like, you were just outraging about all this shit. When I start turning this shit around on your ass and start talking about what is fucking owed for all this generations of wealth that you've gotten for free, that land you've gotten for free, that my ancestors built up for you to exploit and make money off of for free. Fucking pay me.
Look, but here's the issue: is like I said, this is about that. What you call them? Career ragers?
Hey, recreational outragers.
Recreational outragers. I love that term. This is the problem with that recreational outrageous stuff, is that it's only face value. It's a bunch of saber rattling and yelling and cussing, but it's not. But it's not actual behavior.
Paper tiger.
It's not actual fixing. It's not actual. Hey man, this is crazy. How you gonna let this happen? No, it's none of that involved, and that's what it's about. And also, like I said, it's physical. Because like I said, you got liberals beating up people left and right. You got people chains and not going to work.
Antifa, yeah. But it's cowardly shit because motherfuckers will put masks on and then like run up on people with a bicycle chain.
It's about
beat them up.
It's about being anonymous. It's not about you. You don't risk anything you have by doing that. You don't risk your well-being.
And they don't run up on a group of people. It's just like the Klan. It's just like skinheads. Same shit. They run up on motherfuckers that are by themselves.
Let me ask you a question. Why does the Klan wear masks? Because they did not want to endanger where they're placed in society.
There it is.
So when you have to look, you ain't
were recreational outrageous that took it to the extreme.
On the highest level.
Took it to the fucking extreme.
On the highest level. And what you gotta understand, they ain't the Lone Ranger. This ain't no Kemosabe. And for the record, who's the Lone Ranger based on?
I forgot.
Bass Reeves, Black Cowboy.
Wow.
Yes, he arrested over 3,000 people, shot so many of them, never killed anybody. And
what state was that in?
Oh, he was from Oklahoma, but he went west. And he was originally from Oklahoma. He was a slave that kind of freed himself.
Holy shit! That was the guy that was in the fucking movie at the beginning of the little boy that was in Watchmen. In Tulsa, he was watching in a black movie theater about Bass Reeves, and the white people cheered him on, Bass Reeves. So that's the guy.
Yes, Bass Reeves. Here's what. Yes, he freed himself from slavery. What happened was his original master taught him how to do everything, be an outdoorsman, take care of everything, shooting everything else. Well, his master dies and the son inherits him. So him and the son are playing cards. The son accuses him of cheating, so he beat the son's ass and left. He's like, I ain't no cheater, motherfucker, and beat his ass, and he goes west.
Yeah, but he beat that ass because there was more shit to it. Like he probably didn't like that motherfucker generally.
Well, it's complicated because from what they say that he was cool with the first master. He was cool with the father.
Yeah, but the son was envious of his father.
I don't want to embellish.
This nigga ain't my brother.
I don't want to embellish.
I will. I'll embellish and polish and add all kind of shit trinkets to it.
But he goes west. He learned the Crow. He learned all the different languages of all the Native Americans. He was a master of disguise. Remember how
he was the Black Zartan.
Lone Ranger is based on a real person. And when you go to the TV History Museum and Lone Ranger exhibit, half of it is dedicated to Bass Reeves.
Damn.
So But there's a point that I'm trying to make, is that this whole thing about these recreational outragers, excuse me, that what they're doing is they're protected also. They're protected by the laws of the land now. They're protected by the fact that, we know that we did something wrong to black folks. And that's another thing. All these laws for civil rights were based on black males. Because you got to remember, they stopped importing black females for a long time.
Yeah.
So all these laws were based on black males. And then all of a sudden, when people use our laws, our wins, and then they incorporate everything else. Women, Mexicans, everybody else stood by while we fought. Yeah. But then after we got our gains, they took advantage of it. And so that's the same thing going on with these liberals right now, as they're acknowledging that, hey man, we did you wrong. And so they want to feel good about themselves. They want to feel like, I'm not like my grandfather. I'm not like my grandfather. I like having sex with black women in public, and so there's no sneaking behind it. And same thing we talk about Strom Thurmond, that Democratic congressman, that had a child by his black maid, and he put her through college too. She went to the best schools and everything. So in public, he was a racist piece of crap. He was all these different things. I don't know how old that maid was, just for the record. He might have been a pedophile too, but we'll discuss that later. What I'm saying is that. But some of this raging is also for your audience. Yeah. And that's the whole point of this.
Yes, it's virtue signaling.
Yes.
It's look at me, look how great I am. Look, I'm so pious.
I'm better than everybody else because my sins aren't as bad as your sins. And that's look, I get it.
I have skid marks, but I wash them out. You can just barely see them still.
Yeah. Oh yes, I marinate mine. Look, what people aren't seeing is that the correlations are there everywhere. And I get that America has done a lot of things wrong, and you want to acknowledge that. But the fact is this, don't acknowledge it, do something about it. Keep your promise that you made to us. Quit letting government change laws that make things that should be illegal.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, every law that benefits black people, we had to fight to get it. It was not given freely.
No, not at all.
So there was outrage, but it was not recreational. It was full-blown outrage.
Full-blown. I'm alive. I need to be recognized.
Yes. It was something that had to be done, that had to be voiced, and then it had to be acted upon after planning it.
Look, I'm trying to tell you right now, we're going to see a lot more of this mask-wearing crap going on. You're going to see a lot more of these people who, like I said, they love to be anonymous when it comes to acting a fool and yelling, or they love to yell and act a fool when it doesn't really matter. But they're not going to risk their jobs. They're not going to risk their place in society. They're not going to risk their marriage or anything else significant, but they love to talk. And that's another thing. Many of these people, like when you talk about Antifa, a lot of these are gay men beating up on people.
Gay rage.
Yeah.
Gage.
Look, I get what you're trying to say, that things should be fair, but how come we got transsexuals arresting girls? How come you got these male? Yeah, you have a transsexual guy who's in some kind of who won all these wrestling stuff, all these wrestling events, but he's a girl, and so you have these girls outraged like, hey man, how come he's able to compete with us? Look, you fight so hard not to discriminate that you're discriminating. You fight so hard
that fucking joke about Dave Chappelle had about in the Sticks and Stones special, where he's saying like, if LeBron James had a sex change and he went to WNBA, he'd be scoring 1,000 points per game on all them fucking broads, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
look, it is not fair. You cannot take puberty back. No, we're agreeing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like 5 years ago, but there is a MMA fighter who is who's a transsexual.
Yeah.
He lost his first 3 or 4 matches, but since then he's been on like a tear.
Yeah, because he's relying on that like residual testosterone and bone density.
I think he damn near killed a girl, like cracked her skull or some crap.
Yeah, man.
So yes, you cannot. Another thing that when I say that this recreational raging is a form of outraging, is a form of fascism.
Well, that's interesting.
It's a form of fascism because people sit here and tell me that I should want to have sex with a transsexual woman. that I'm homophobic because I don't want to have sex with a transsexual.
No, man, listen.
Hold it. You can't tell me how to feel.
The devil is a lie. Listen, you know what, man? Like, at some point, like, you just got called shit just like it is. Listen, man, look. You can go and live your life and do what you want, but don't force shit on people.
But that's what they're doing.
Yes, and then you try and tell me what I need to fucking like.
For me to be a whole person, I need to have sex with a transsexual.
No, bro. No, I don't slow dance with bearded ladies.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And that is my choice. And that's the way I feel. And you know what? I'm perfectly cool with that. And if you got a fucking problem with that, then you got a fucking problem with it. Fine. We're going to have to disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your fucking thing. And this is my thing over here. And you know what? Listen, man. Listen.
Calm down.
You have Japan and fucking Korea and fucking England and everybody on these separate fucking islands living their own fucking life, doing just fine. Occasionally there's wars and invasions and shit. But dude, hey, I ain't trying to make Japanese motherfuckers live the way I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, forcing my way of life, the U.S. government would love to do this shit.
Yeah.
But I'm not, as an individual, I don't force my way of life on anybody. That's not my thing.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So, kick rocks. I don't want to hear about this shit you trying to tell me that I need to like. And you trying to make it a law. And trying to make it a law that I am saying something that you don't like. Bitch, this is the problem. You too sensitive.
Look.
You too fucking sensitive.
Look, the biggest tool the devil ever had is guilt. The biggest tool, and they will guilt you, and they'll say something. Man, that's racist. That's sexist. That's this is. They stick an EST on the end of anything. It means, and so then you feel like
to the nth degree.
Yeah, so
extreme.
I don't want to be racist. I'm black. No, I don't want to be sexist. I'm a male. Look, you do not EST me out of anything.
Right.
I'm a grown man, and that's the whole thing. That being an adult. When I say grown man, I mean adult. I don't mean male. I mean. I'm not talking about male principle.
I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the principle that I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions, and I don't need somebody assisting me or encouraging me. I want to give you an example. Let's say fishing. There's 3 types of fishermen. There's a recreational fisherman, there's a sports fisherman, and then there's the subsistence fisherman. The recreational guy, he goes out there, he fishes, he might eat it. You know, if he catches something, fine. If he doesn't, there's no skin off his nose. But then you have the sports fisherman who likes trophies, and he fishes for the challenge of it. But then you have the subsistence fisherman, the last guy. If he does not catch a fish, he does not eat. So it's very important. But that's how this outrage is.
That's a good analogy.
You only care about this because it's okay. I'm doing it for fun. I'm showing what I can do. But that substance fishermen, the people who are outraged because they've genuinely been done wrong, and it affects them and their livelihood and their life and their children and their well-being and everything else. That's not outrage. That's real. You're attacking who I am. You're attacking what I do. And America ain't supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be the land of opportunity. And so that's why there's different type of outrage. But this recreational outrage, it's a joke. It's a farce. It's so that you don't look bad in front of people. You want to impress unimpressive people. So you got to be careful about this, because like I said, it's a slippery slope that leads to fascism. It leads to all these different things. You know, right now there's like 9 different sexes.
Yeah, but hang on a second, stop for a minute, because you said it leads to fascism. I want to say something about that, because it really does, because fascism is not that far away from communism, and it becomes like this type of like controlled speech. Like, this whole idea online right now and in social media is controlling speech and what's allowed and like what are quote unquote trigger words that can get you shut down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you get put in Facebook jail if you touch on a subject they don't want you to touch on. Which is fine with me. Facebook is not real. You know, we're older. We were born in the 70s. Facebook's not real to us. It's entertainment. That's it. We might find some good information on there, but that's cool. And so if you put me in Facebook jail, I'm fine. But a lot of other people, if you get put in Facebook jail, they'll never do it again. And they will go out their way never to offend or never to speak ill again. And you got to watch that stuff. You know, you really have to watch where you can't be honest with people.
I mean, it sounds like sci-fi. It's like thought police. These thought police like want to control the way you're thinking, and of course what you're saying.
Look, there's something you always bring up. we love the Twilight Zone. We grew up on the Twilight Zone. There was an episode where they changed everybody to look like. Every woman and man looked alike. And so when you hit a certain age, it was your decision who you want to look like.
It was about beauty. It's about the beauty. It's called Beauty Skin Deep.
Yes, it's not just about beauty. It's about making everybody conform and everybody be the same person. And that's what's going on right now. This sounds really crazy. I don't care if you're a bigot, a racist, or if you're prejudiced towards me. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Now, when you start burning crosses in my yard, I will take my Second Amendment right and I'll split your fucking wig. You understand? But that's my job. That's my choice. But the idea that you have to believe the way I believe, no. Now, I do believe it's fair that you make sure I can get a job. I do believe it's fair that you do these different things. But I do not have the right to tell a white man what to do in a white man's house. That's not right. I don't have the right to tell a woman what to do in her house. A white woman, black woman, I cannot tell you what to do in your house. That's what this is about. You want to tell me what to do in my house and how I should think? And like I said, I have no problem. I have no problem with the Klan. I have a problem when you start hurting people, but I have no problem with their thought because that's theirs. So that's crazy. I know you like, hey, he's a sellout. No, I'm not a sellout. Not at all. What I'm saying is that.
But here's the thing. Let me clarify. What you're really saying is you respect their right,
freedom,
their right to freedom of speech.
The freedom of everything.
You respect their right to say what the fuck they want to say, even though you fucking hate what they're saying.
Even if I don't agree with it. The whole point is that this leads to fascism. People telling you what to do, what to think, and how to feel even
thought
sometimes.
Police.
Yeah, thought police. And the example we were talking about before our break was the Twilight Zone and how they want everybody to be the same. But they don't really want you to be the same, but they do want you to be palatable and be able to manipulate you and make you conform to what they want and not fight back, not lash out. And even when these people lash out for small reasons, they really don't want you to do the same. But even on top of that, even more, they want you at each other's throats. When you're fighting each other, you're not fighting the government. When you're beating each other up, arguing over little bitty points, and this is something that Killer Mike pointed out at that conference, is that you're arguing over who has the best master.
Mm-hmm. Which master to serve.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, okay, so let's stop there for a second, because really it's the position of the battlefield, where the battlefield is shifting to, because they're controlling you if they have you arguing with each other. They're controlling you if they have control of your thoughts and your speech. So they're fighting you on multiple planes.
Look, if you want people to act right, raise them right. And we always say this in almost every podcast. They attribute this quote to Frederick Douglass. It's easier to raise a strong child than it is to fix a broke man, or let's say broke adult. What's happening is that we're growing up and we're not being adults. You're physically
perpetual adolescence.
Yes. You're physically 36 years old, but you still have all the same wants and desires of a 12-year-old.
Yep.
And so one of those things is that you don't want to be discriminated against. So what do? You lash out and you beat up the weaker person, but you don't fight the person who's actually doing something to you. The person who's actually making you feel or confining you, not making you feel confined. We're not talking about feeling right now. We're talking about actual situation. Mm-hmm. The person who's actually making it so that you can't be happy or have the family that you want or be with the person you want. You're not fighting that person, but you're fighting anybody who says something that you don't like. You're fighting words. Whatever, and this goes back to Dave Chappelle. Sticks and stones. He's joking. He's saying sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. What happened to that? Now we live in a society where words are everything. And don't get me wrong, words can lead to bad places. Words can cause bad things to happen. I'm not saying they can't. But I'm saying as an adult, you need to recognize that I'm not going to jeopardize what I have, or you don't have control over me. So, look, I get it. You're straight, you're gay, you're white, you're black, you're Mexican, you're whatever. That's fine. But it's not fair when you force your ideals onto me. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I get it. I don't like the Klan, but I admire them for believing what they want. Believe that, but don't come in my yard with it. Right. Yeah, you gonna catch a 223.
But the thing is, like I was saying, is that, look, man, I hate what you represent, but what you have a right to voice what you represent. You know what I'm saying? You have a right to think in that way. I can't control the way you think. I don't want to control the way you think.
No.
You know, I support your right to be a complete shithead.
It's yours. But on the same token, but these Antifa motherfuckers want to run up and beat up on women. That's another thing I don't get is that you say that you want to fight the bully, but you become the bully.
Yeah.
And when you've seen these guys with masks on, you see the guy on Facebook kick the girl in the head who's like, "Yeah, abortion's fine. I'm choice." You're what? Or excuse me, it's just the opposite. The woman she was against abortion, and the guy said he screamed some crazy shit and kicks her in the head. How is kicking a woman okay? How is you're a male? I don't care if you are a feminine male, you're still a male. How is that? How are these things okay? And what like I said, this goes back to my original statement that everybody wants that N word. Everybody wants that word or that thing so they can act a fool and beat people up. Like I said, being black, if somebody calls me the N word, I'm supposed to beat their ass. Let me explain something to you. I work for a Fortune 500 company. If you call me a nigga at work, I'm going to cry and piss myself. I'm gonna fall all over and I'm gonna sue you. And when that lawsuit is done in 2 years and I get paid and the company pays me, I will beat the fuck out you wherever you are. I don't give a fuck if you're in El Paso or Siberia. You gonna smell my cologne, motherfucker. I'm gonna beat your ass. Do you understand? Because that word does not give you control over me either. By calling me that, I am not going to lose my head. But at the same time, by calling me that, don't think that you won't get what you're looking for. Because you're looking for a fight. And that's what this is about. There are certain words we want. You want to equate some word in your white society.
You want the trigger.
Yeah, you want that trigger word. You want some word or some behavior or something to equate to the N word. And he called me gay. I'm like, but you are gay. That doesn't matter. And again, we love to preface by talking about Dave Chappelle. We love to talk about, and when he talks about the different things he went through on the show, and one of the things he talks about is like, he said, how come I can't say the word faggot? He said, well, David, he's like, I use the word nigger all the time. How come I can't say faggot? He said, well, you're not gay. He said, well, I'm not a nigga either. So again, I'm not going to let you control me with that word or any other word, but what I'm saying is stop looking for that word in your life. Stop looking for that in your society. So you can I got a trigger word and you used it. Guess what? If you run up on me, if I do say the wrong thing, tell me I'm wrong. And so we can discuss it. But if you try to whip my ass, that's a road you don't want to go down, and you're going to get stuck.
There's a lot of piling on,
Yes.
There's a lot of piling on,
yes.
And people, like we said earlier, they're waiting for that moment to just go off,
But hold it. There's something else that we talked about earlier. Some people do want to be bigots. They want to be prejudiced.
Yeah.
They want to, and so the thing is, they've been holding this shit in for years. And like I said, that Barack presidency and the Trump presidency gave them the outlet. And so how many of these black women? Because that's the funny thing. You never heard it with the black men who are married to white women, but you heard this a lot from the white men married to black women. They're like, I ended up divorcing my husband because he started saying these things and he's a racist. I'm like, so you think that your pussy was going to change him?
Right.
He always felt this way. But also you got to understand now, some of this stuff, he is taking advantage of a negative situation.
Yeah.
You have people out of work, can't find jobs, so they got to blame somebody. Now, when people compare Trump to Hitler, then that part is true, the scapegoating. In Hitler's society, the scapegoating was Jews. In this society, scapegoating is Mexicans. And so if that's what we're going to go with it, I respect that, but don't say everything he does. It's like Hitler is not, because Hitler is the one white guy you can say, and you can say whatever you want about him. He's your trigger. Hitler, he's worse than Hitler. He's worse than Nazis. Gosh damn it! And they run with that crap.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, what this is about is about having a trigger word. It's about being gangsters, about being able to beat somebody up because they said something to you. That's all this is about. And this goes back to the videos you see on Facebook, the videos you see where people are getting beat up over little things. Oh, what? You said this to me? And they're fighting. And you got white people. You have poor white people behaving how black people used to behave. Because I'm not attributing negative behavior to being black. I will not do that. But what I'm saying is that you have videos out there now where you're watching and you're seeing people get beat up and get knocked out and all these different things. It's funny and it's hilarious. And you want to be that badass. I remember that, I went to a broke high school. I went to Benson. And you had a lot of poor white people, a lot of black people there. And every white person at Benson was Italian. You know why? Because they had the mafia. Yeah, I'm Italian. No, you're not. You have an Irish last name. Smith is not. They were not Italian, but people attribute being Italian to being a badass. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be a badass. You have gay guys that want to be a badass. You have people that want to be a badass, and that's what this is about: is beating people up and having an excusable thing that happens. You said trigger, and so my point being, when we were at Benson, like you had all these white kids who remember they had a white gang called the Lynch Mob.
Mm-hmm.
Now they named themselves after Ice Cube's group, and Ice Cube said nothing but bad things about white people. But that's how bad that they wanted to band together and beat somebody up. They wanted to have an excuse.
Yeah,
They
it's
wanted to
not
have,
that smart to be white and call yourself the lynch mob.
I realized that, but they didn't know it at the time. So, but what it is like I said, people want to be able to beat somebody up, be outraged and act a fool and get attention. So, like I said, you have two type of outrages. You have the one outrager who wants to fight, who's been wanting to fight, but doesn't have the ability or really doesn't have the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the ones that are outraged because they want people to see, like, hey, I'm not a regular white person. I'm this, I'm that. They want you to see that, hey, guess what? I really go to bat for you, but I'm not really doing shit, but arguing and fighting one little person. Or we're jumping. And like I said, you got a lot of these guys beating up women.
Yeah, that's some punk shit.
Nobody says that anymore.
Yeah, that's some punk ass shit.
Yeah, they don't want to they don't want to go that route. So, look,
dude, like there was this video that I saw online. And I think it was a Facebook video somebody sent me. There's this girl, she's dancing and twerking, and she's in the gym, and some shithead just throws a basketball like right at her fucking head.
Yeah, I sent that to you.
That shit wasn't funny at all, dude.
It was hilarious.
That's some hoe shit. Dude.
Look, I get what you're saying, but she looked like Beyonce for a second.
Yeah, but you know what? That's funny, man. But like, dude, that ain't funny.
What it is that you actually believe
that was a real dick move.
True, but what you're saying is that I believe that women are the fairest sex, and in any kind of violence towards a woman kind of turns my stomach. And I get what you're saying, and that's
because you can kill them. You can kill them with your hands.
Look, in our search for equality, we have forgotten the basic principles of our society. And men, decency. Men are stronger than women. We should be taking care of them, not abusing them. Mm-hmm. I'm black. I built this country. I have the same right to this country as you.
That right there. That's why I go anywhere in this country, and I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about me being there. I don't give a fuck. Dude, we can go way out to Kearney. We can go way out to fucking Ogallala. We can go to motherfucking to like the mountains of Washington State. I don't give a fuck what these people think. I don't.
That's the whole issue, is that people are actually scared. And like I said, I hate the word homophobia, but people have phobias. And one of their phobias is how people perceive them. And so, like I said, this is about how you're being perceived. You care more about people's perception of you than your actual reality and your actual who you act like, who you do, what you do. You don't care about that. You care like, hey, he's a really good white guy.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they had a term, soul brother. He's a soul brother.
He cool.
Yeah, that's what they want to hear, that, but they don't care about acting like that and earning the title. Now, we had white guys we grew up with. I don't like putting names out there.
Don't put the names out there.
Yeah, but there's one right now I can call right now.
Don't say the name.
Yeah, you know who he is. Call him right now. We brothers to the end of time. Had two twin brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that's my dude. He was cool.
He
is cool.
Yeah, not was.
I mean, back in the day, like he had, listen, when I say was, I mean he has a track record of being a cool motherfucker, man. And like when he down the scrap, you know what I'm saying? Got your back. He's like, whatever, man. Like he's the type of guy that'll give you his shirt off his back.
Help you get a job, whatever it is.
Whatever, man.
But he's a man.
He's
first.
100.
Yeah, every day. See, you hear this term in the hood, solid. His word is solid. Some of these people's word is ice. It seems solid.
Right, but it's real brittle.
But no, 15 minutes later, it's wet.
Yeah.
Some people's word ain't solid.
Yeah, it will crack.
Yeah. But other people, it doesn't just, it's granite. It's hard all the time. It don't melt. It don't care. You can pour magma on that motherfucker. Yeah. I know that if this person tells me. And so, like I said, our background is different than some of the other people in the world. And I get that. But I'm trying to tell you that these people who love to march and love to beat up women and love to act like this is their trigger word. What they're really saying is that they're still upset by being beat up in high school. And when you have
you can't let go of that shit.
And that's another thing. I remember when this whole reality show thing kind of blew up, and I remember it was like Ricky Lake. Please, I'm not lying. If I don't remember, I try to be honest. I think it was Ricky Lake, and they had one of those episodes, look at me now. And so they had like these 5 people on the stage, and the people that kind of harassed them in high school or whatever, they would confront them like, hey, guess who I am? I'm such and such. So they get to like the 3rd or 4th person, and this guy, they bring the girl out. You remember harassing me in high school? Look at me now. He's like, I don't remember you at all.
Right.
Yeah. She literally does not remember harassing you or anything else, but you built your adult identity was based on
your aggression.
Yes. Now hold on. Now hold it. Maybe either she did treat him like shit, or maybe it was perceived that she treated him like shit. That could be perception, because perception is reality. That could have been that guy's perception, but it was enough to where he wanted to drag this woman on the show in front of millions of people and show her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, she still won, because I don't remember.
Yeah, she wins because she don't even acknowledge you.
Yeah, look, people who exist in high school, like, look, I had some great experiences in high school, but
mine was fantastic.
I don't remember them. I don't, because high school wasn't the only thing. Did not make me. I had a great childhood. I remember stuff from kindergarten. I remember fights in grade school. I remember
junior high.
Yeah, I remember going to places. I had a great childhood all the way up to my adult years, but high school didn't define me. I wasn't one of these people that I don't drive the same car I drove in high school. Excuse me. You know why? Because some people don't make it out. Many males don't make it out of high school. Yeah, emotionally.
Psychologically.
Yes, and so
I know a few.
We know more than a few. Excuse me. But like I said, this is about how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself. And one of those things is that you say that you want to be free. You say that this country is supposed to be free, but you want them to be free on your terms. That, again, you are headed towards fascism. Everybody wants to have intelligent conversations. You want to have these conversations, but you don't want to have action. It's like, when you're at work, you have 5 meetings and you ain't accomplished shit. That's what these talks are. That's what these things you see on TV. It's not about the talk. It's about the action. It's not about what you say. It's how you treat people. It's how you when they leave your presence, they should feel rewarded. Like I said, don't get me wrong. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. Be careful what you ask for. Be careful. I do want it to be fair. I do want black people to be given a chance. I want this country to treat me the way it's supposed to.
But the outrage, man, like, coming back to this and closing on this, it's one of those things that if you engage it directly, you have to do it with a sober mindset.
Yes.
You have to do it with a sober mindset.
Clear head.
And a clear head. And you can't go raging against rage, because you'll end up looking like an idiot. You know what I mean? And so, but you have to speak plainly and call bullshit on its face value.
People don't do that anymore. I call bullshit shenanigans. People won't do that anymore.
Like, in closing, listen, think for yourself, speak for yourself.
Look, the reason people don't call bullshit anymore because they don't want their bullshit pointed out. That's all this is about.
And that's it. And we'll talk to you soon on the next episode.